Thank you. Thank you, Senator Hughes, for bringing us together and inviting me. Thank you all for being here. Thanks for your support. For my career, I wouldn't have the platform to do the things that I'm able to do were you all not watching and keeping me on the air. And so on the air and television allows me to make a difference and touch on other folks. And what I've done all of my career right out of college is worked in urban politics and civil rights. And today we are asked to come up with some innovative strategies or share some innovative strategies that have worked around the country. And in Detroit, where I'm from, I worked for many years on strategies that have been successful. When I was working with the mayor, whether it was working with the city council, the mayor, or once I was elected judge, and currently sit on boards in Detroit and nationally that have innovative strategies. But one of the things, as you would expect, that I have worked with over the years is ex-offender legislation and initiatives. And one of the most successful initiatives we've had is the tax credits for corporations that hire ex-offenders. State tax credits. Unfortunately, that budget has been diminished by a Republican governor who didn't think it was worthwhile to continue providing abatements or credits to corporations who hire ex-offenders, because if you monetize a program, your corporations will come to the table. So when we began lobbying and initially succeeded in getting the legislation that allowed a corporation which paid $30,000, $40,000 a year to an ex-offender, non-violent ex-offender for the most part, a couple other caveats that avoided some of the other catastrophes that may come from such a program. But if they can get 10% of their money back, if you can get $4,000 a year and you hire 100 ex-offenders, you're getting, you all do the math, I'm a lawyer, what is that, 400,000 or 4 million? You know, lawyers can't add. Don't let your lawyer do your taxes. But if you're an employer and you can save that amount of money, you're more subject to hire someone. That's a monetary incentive. So that's been successful in Detroit and the state of Michigan, rather. And then at my community center, we have a 10,000 square foot community center we built. We have an entrepreneurship program where we first of all help expunge the records of those who are ex-offenders. And subsequently, we also do a joint venture with the county, which helps finance entrepreneurship for those ex-offenders, because many of them, particularly if they don't have a corporation hiring ex-offenders who are getting a tax credit, they can't find a job. So what we've been able to do is finance startup franchises, those franchises that have $5,000 or less startup funds. One of the primary franchises that we have is Kleenex, where it costs $5,000 to go into a janitorial business, and they provide the contracts. Every month they provide a specific number of contracts once you're in that franchise program. Well, my community center, along with the county that I reside in Detroit, co-finance that, and we've put over 60 ex-offenders in business, and several of them make make six-figure money, and with 2 or 3 people working on staff with them. So that's one of the other specific policy initiatives that have worked. And unfortunately, we have a new county executive, and he's going to reduce the funds available for that. That's telling us, as you hear, how important public policy is driven by voting. Because when we vote the right folks in, we get the right budget for the right policies. And lastly, we have the Ban the Box initiative in our criminal justice and ex-offender programs, initiatives, and policy in the Detroit area. We were successful in lobbying the Detroit City Council to pass a Ban the Box ordinance where corporations who do business with the city or receive public dollars from the city cannot ask whether you are an ex-offender on the application until the job has been offered. Can't even ask until the job has been offered. And when it's offered, if it's an issue of if it's a nonviolent offense, and our Civil Rights Commission at the City of Detroit determined that you're discriminating because of a person's ex-offender status. Discrimination is illegal, and you can't discriminate based on, you have the choice to choose someone who has a criminal record or not, but if you offer the job and later find that they've been convicted of a minor nonviolent offense, you can't then, or our Civil Rights Commission will investigate, put it that way. You may want to, but we'll investigate, and you'll just have to answer a lot of questions. But nonetheless, that has worked because now our ex-offenders can apply. They don't have to answer that, and they are allowed, however, the corporation to run a check after they've determined who they're going to offer the job to. And that has worked. And NAACP around the country is advocating for that. I was on the national board of the NAACP where we took that initiative around the country. We have the national board member who stole my seat here, Mike Turner. Throw your hand up, Mike. I want you all to jump on him on the way out. I didn't go to the election that year. Well, I was late for the election that year, and when I came in, he had taken my national board seat. But that's all right. Reverend Jackson still has me on his board of directors, chairing one of the divisions. Reverend, give him a hand. Reverend Jackson, thanks for coming. Love you. One of my mentors. And so those are the specific public policies. And lastly, with regarding the gentrification and revitalization of communities that historically were on the margins of poverty, but now those who seek to re-enter the city and benefit from all the things that great cities offer, particularly the downtowns. In many instances, they're pricing the long-term residents who've stuck in there, who've hung in there through poverty, through all the other problems. They come along and rebuild and then tax them out, because when the property values go up, the folks who have been there, their taxes go up. And they can't go from a $1,000 a year tax bill to a $10,000 a year tax bill within 5 years. They have to sell their property, they have to move, or they lose their homes. So one of the things that was done in New Jersey, and I must give credit to Senator Booker, and we're trying to get this done in Michigan, but Senator Booker, Cory Booker, I met with him when we were talking about several things and trying to bring to Detroit that they were doing in Newark. And one of the things is they create a tax authority whereby they target a particular neighborhood for revitalization where you know the folks are coming. And that particular neighborhood, you create boundaries and create a district where any developer that is coming to create or redevelop housing has to pay a particular tax into a fund that is used by the current residents to, one, offset what would be the increase in their taxes so that they can continue to live there. These new developers, out of that tax fund, pay to offset the tax increase. And then secondly, they're also able to access housing rehab monies so that they can continue to maintain or increase the maintenance of the homes in these new and gentrified areas. So your house won't be looking poor while the re-gentrified resident is looking high standards. And that works for them too, because a developer wants to build and he wants his neighbor's house to look good. So everyone wins there. And so that's one of the more innovative programs we see in addressing gentrification, which is one of the biggest challenges in urban redevelopment.
Fantastic, thank you.